Alright, welcome to the second video that I've produced about my cycling vacation in Barcelona. I rented the bike from Barcelona Rent-A-Bike, that's the orange ones, just in case you're wondering. We start off at the Talk Hostel, which is just ahead on the right-hand side. We're starting on Gran Via, just before the university. I'm not quite sure what street this is, but check the map. Talk Hostel on the left is a 2-star hostel, quite lovely and better than your average hostel, that's for sure. So we're coming up to the university area right here, which is on your left hand side. Video is sped up by 2, so things look a little fast but they don't look ridiculous. So going along here, we're going in a generally northeasterly direction, and we're heading. At this point I had no idea where I'm going. Basically, when I go on these kind of vacations, I go one way: north, south, east, and west. And if I'm there 4 days, so this is me going northeast. As you will see, the cycling lane changes from time to time. Whereas if you go southwest, it basically stays the same. As I mentioned in the other video, if you saw that already, it gets a bit messed up here. And for some reason, the cycling lane is periodic. Let me just say that. There's a couple of, you'll see it in a video coming up in the video here, that a taxi driver kind of points me into the right direction. Being a tourist and being on an orange bike, he gave me some slack. So it's basically the same deal. You've got a main lane in the middle for the cars. You've got 2 side lanes on either side for local traffic, so taxis and whatnot. You do get the occasional bus going up there, but not very often. So the plaza here that we're at is Plaza de Tetuan. Please excuse my Spanish pronunciations, which are absolutely rubbish. We head along still on Gran Via till we can't basically go any further, and then we head we take a left and head towards the church. Now just keep in mind, I have no idea where I'm going at this point. I have no clue. I don't know that I'm going to where I end up. And so if it looks like I'm doing that, well then that's what I'm doing. So watch the taxi driver here kind of point me over there. So he points me into the bike lane, which is sometimes in the middle of the boulevard and sometimes on the side lane. So you have to watch out for that. And it really depends on what street you are on, and it really depends on whereabouts in the town you are. So you can, as you can see, the bike lane here kind of does what? It just stops. Which, you know, as a cyclist, I'm all too familiar with, because that pretty well happens in most cities. But I figure it out, and you see that kind of go around with the traffic anyway. So it is a bit complicated for people who are not used to bike riding at all. So what I decided to do when it comes to these roadworks at the end here is I didn't like the look of it, and it's basically here at well, you're kind of at the Torre Glories, I believe it's called. So it's a little bit before that, so it's where the road kind of splits into 2 a little more, and it didn't look too bike friendly, so I decided to make a left here, which I think is Carriera de la Marina, I believe. as I'm looking on my map, which I may be wrong. Or it could be the one before it. So it's about round this point where I spot the sign for the church and kind of follow it from there on. So I have, at this point, I kind of have an idea. This is going across diagonal, I think. And then I take a little bit of a swing here. I guess I have no idea where we're going. So this is diagonal, one of the main streets. So I take this for about a block and then I believe I make a right on Cecilia. Carrier de Cecilia, which is coming up just up the top of the hill here. Alright, so I think I've got it right with the map. So it's basically a turn right here and then head into the cathedral, Sagrada Familia. So I make a right turn here. At this point I have, as I said earlier, I have no idea where I'm going. I'm just kind of following my nose, which is what I like to do. And it gets you in all kinds of wonderful places. So it's also a matter of finding the bike lane. Sometimes a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes it's on the left side of the street, sometimes it's on the right side of the street. And then you will notice that the street is actually blocked off around the church. That is because, of course, the threat from terrorists. So the street is actually, where the church is actually blocked off to vehicle traffic. But being on a bicycle, it was no problem whatsoever. And, you know, it's funny because you're going along and you basically, you know, the design of these buildings, what we see here are, you know, all too familiar, standard Barcelona design. And then you get to the end of this block and then it's, okay, where did this thing come from? So it's a bit of an, you know, architectural shock just to see it. And it's pretty amazing just to have a look at it and just see how it kind of stands out in the landscape. And I believe I just said into the camera, hurry up and finish it. Or something to that equivalent. So even if it was overcast as it was at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's still lots of tourists around. Everybody's a little confused as to whether, at this point, it is starting to rain a little bit. I don't have a jacket, and but it doesn't seem to bother me that much at this point. Later, in about 10-15 minutes when I'm riding back, I call it a day and head back. So basically I'm recording the video you're about to see right here. Commonly known as the longest construction project in Spain. As a piece of art, it's pretty amazing. As a church, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, this is where we are on the map. You can see us in the top there.
Boring old building, boring old building. Bit of trees. What are all these people doing here? Look at this monster. Holy crap. Hurry up and finish it. Somebody told me it was on top of a hill, but it isn't. Not much. Like it's about to pour down at any given second, but here's this thing. It's a bit dull today. Even with the threat of rain, there's tons and tons of people here.
Alright, so after checking out one of the more impressive Gaudi construction projects in the city, I decided to take a few more pictures, do more video. One of the reasons why I'm doing 3 videos of the same thing is I still wasn't quite confident in the Get Up 2 performance, because there's no way of knowing on the camera if the camera is full. It has a habit of showing it's still recording. So there I am, looking up at the sky, and that's one of the great benefits of having the rotation on the camera mount, is you can just flip it around and see things that you wouldn't have normally seen before. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a bit of a right turn up Avenue de Gaudi, which is not open to cars, but what you do is you get a really nice view of the church when I flip around here. So I go up to the end of the block. So this is a bit different than regular Barcelona block streets. This has a diagonal street, kind of an avenue in the middle. So what you'll see is when I flip around and come back down the street, you'll see a really nice view of Sagrada Familia. There it is. And unfortunately I flipped my camera a little too high at this point, but you get the general idea of the height and the general concept of what they're trying to do. I'm not sure what that is, but anyway, it's a lovely piece of architecture. I didn't go inside, as with most of the things. As you can see, it's getting a little more cloudier and cloudy as we are at the Gaudi. So anyway, that's from this point on, it just gets a race to get back to my residence at the Talk Hostel as quickly as possible without getting totally soaked. At this point it's still not quite raining, but in about 5 minutes it will be. So we're going to speed up those little excerpts. And this was the only time it really rained in Barcelona. So I also get stuck by behind a tour here in a moment, and they're going very slow. And it's a bit frustrating. So let's speed this up and get it over with, because it's kind of painful. Alright, so basically from this point on it is just a race, because I could see the clouds getting darker, And even people that have been obviously not riding very much have jackets on. I'm just riding around in t-shirt. Although some of these people have a t-shirt on as well. And there I go, kind of getting by them because they're going way too slow. So I'm heading, at this point, I'm heading towards Diagonal. And I'm about to cross it, I believe. And then head south towards the water. And you can tell this is Diagonal here right now. So I carry on down the center of Diagonal for a little while, and then make a left turn and then go downhill. And the general rule in Barcelona is if you're going downhill, you are going towards the water, which makes sense. So I continue along Diagonal until I generally get the feeling I'm getting close to the university. It's just a sense that I have, not quite sure. I stop here, right there. There's an edit, and got to go on a little bit further. Thankfully, I had two working maps, one on my phone and one on my Samsung tablet. The rain's starting to come down here a little bit, so I'm occasionally cleaning the screen. And in a minute I'm going to take a left turn on Avenue de Balmes, I think, B-A-L-M-E-S, and that brings me out right next to the university at on Gran Via. And so it's a one-way street. As you can tell, it is kind of downhill, and I get a fair speed up at this point, even though there's lots of red lights. As you can tell, it's starting to come down a little bit heavy with the rain, and I'm going to cut it off. I think the battery dies at one point here. But I'm doing my darndest to get as fast as I can, just to get through the rain. It's getting a bit painful at this point. And I think that's where it pretty well ends at the Great Apple in the Sky. So thanks for watching the video. We'll wrap up right outside the Starbucks across from the university, and thank you for supporting, and please check out the musicians that are listed, and thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions or queries, please let me know, leave a message, and thanks for watching, and please share the video.